Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to another episode of Bottom of the Stream. My name is Adam, and this is Nick.
Welcome.
And welcome. How are you, Nick?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Glad to hear it. You got a week off, haven't you? How's that going?
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, I took the week off work because you'd use the holidays or lose them, basically. Yeah,
Fair.
here we are. Yeah, pretty good.
Not up to much.
There's been some baking going on.
Nice.
I helped a little bit.
Did you, though?
Yeah, a little
Did
bit.
you do the washing up or something?
Whip the cream.
Nice.
Oh, something I will mention.
Yep.
Which I tried something for the first time this week. It's always good to try new things, isn't it?
Definitely.
I went geocaching.
That sounds technological. What was that? Never
Did
even
you not
heard
know what geocaching is?
No.
So,
Or do I?
I don't know.
think I do.
So basically, you go for a walk, which is about the only thing we can do at the minute.
This is probably why I don't know anything about it.
And you get like a geocaching app. There are many available, and
Okay.
you follow the directions on the app to a location, and you find the little canister or box or whatever it is that is at that location. You can sort of like mark that you found it. You can leave a little thing there, a little gift or a little note, and then you go and find the next one. So we did
What?
we did some local tours. Did about 5 or 6 the other morning. That was really cool.
You're telling me there's like little boxes and canisters hidden all around the country?
Yeah.
I did not know this. How did I not know about this?
And you like mark them off on your app, and yeah, it's cool.
That sounds really good fun.
Possibly the most exciting thing that has happened to me in months was when we spent about 5 to 10 minutes looking in one place for one, couldn't find it, and then I swung a bit of wood up on the gate, and it was actually in the end of the bit of wood. So
Wow.
the little canister was like, whoever set it had drilled a hole into the plank of wood, put a magnet in there with some glue, and then magnetised the canister to it.
People really go into this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then you just write, yeah, found on this date, and then you log it on your app, and there you go, merrily on to the next one.
I genuinely had no clue this was a thing.
Okay.
You've blown my mind.
But some of them are really obvious, because like one was like basically a massive lunchbox, and
Right.
it was really obvious at the bottom of a tree. And then another one, which took us a while to find, was a tiny little tube on the end of some fake ivy in a wood covered in ivy. It took ages to find it, but it was quite fun.
It sounds fun.
Yeah. When we're allowed, you can come with us next time.
Oh, we'll definitely do that. I'm excited. I've never heard of that. Genuinely never heard of it.
Ah, well, there you go.
You've taught me something.
It's basically like,
Like orienteering.
well, I guess the same sort of idea that things like Pokemon Go are based from, isn't it?
Well, I suppose, yeah. Similar idea.
So that was definitely the highlight of the week. How about you? What have you been up to?
Built a new headboard for my bed
Excellent.
because I got a new mattress.
Cool.
So
That's most of a bed.
That's most of a bed. I've still got a bed base, so I made a new headboard for it, and yeah, I've got this whole new bed now. It's awesome. I don't want to get out of it ever.
That's fine. Good.
So
As
I
long
did
as
that.
it's comfy.
Did I mention my new Hoover?
You did mention it to me. I don't think we've talked about it on
I've got
the show.
one of these robot Hoover things.
And
It's well good.
Does he work?
He does work. Works perfectly. He hoovers my house every day at 12 o'clock, and I'm not even there. It's great. I'm never going to have to hoover again.
But are you not concerned that when the machines rise up against us, your Hoover might be one of the first things to bite your toes off or something?
Maybe, but I think I could have it in a fight.
Okay, which just punt it over the fence.
Yeah, I'll just turn it over so its wheels are on the top, and then it can't do anything.
That's true.
I'm not so worried about it. It's not that heavy. I think it'll be fine.
Sure, it'll never happen.
There's mopping as well.
Oh, excellent.
That's cool. Yeah, so that's been the highlight of my week, watching that go around every day. It's like having a new friend in the house. I've called it Gary.
Good, solid name.
I can tell Alexa to turn Gary on. And she does.
It's like a tech orgy when you're not there. When the owner's away.
The robots communicate with each other. So I've got Alexa and Gary are my new housemates.
That's nice to have friends.
Well, I can't see any of my actual friends. So I've had to make robot friends.
You'll come home one day and there'll just be lots of little Garys and Garyettes.
Yeah, Garrettes.
Sort of buzzing around.
That'd be cool. Then the house would be even cleaner. The house has never been so clean.
I like that.
Other than that, I've not done anything this week. Have you seen any? Have you watched anything? No. Have you got any Netflix news?
I've got one. Yeah.
Cool. Go for it. Hit me with it.
I mean, I thought it was a bit quiet on the old Netflix news this week. I must say.
It has been a little bit. I've only got two.
But I've just got the one. So, do you know Jennifer Garner?
Yes. I don't know her, but I know who she is.
So, she is signed up to be in a Netflix movie called Family Leave.
Family Leave?
Yeah. Now, have you ever seen... She was in... Was it 13 Going on 30? One of these, like, body swap comedies. And she, like, swapped places with her daughter. Like,
I have not seen it, no.
Probably, like, 10, 15
I'm aware of this type of movie.
Well, this movie is basically that, except the whole family swaps bodies with another family.
Oh, right.
And they have to, like, find their way back. It sounds, I'm sure you agree, hilarious.
It sounds different.
But yeah, that is coming to Netflix. Presumably next year.
Just what the body swap genre needed a new gimmick. So
yeah, just like a whole batch of body swap.
There's
whole
loads
family.
Of those movies, isn't there? It's crazy how many of those movies there are.
What a genre? Yeah, it is. It's definitely
it's such a niche drama.
I mean, I think we're pretty. Are we? Does Big count?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably where it started. Freaky Friday was that one?
Yeah, well, the original Freaky Friday's from 70s.
Oh, is it?
Isn't
Okay.
it? Yes.
Maybe that's where it started.
It's young Jodie Foster, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, you might be right. So maybe it's tied there.
Yeah.
Did Matthew Perry and Zac Efron do one?
Yep, they've done one.
How strange. What a weird genre to exist.
Vice versa in the 90s with Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold, whatever happened to him? He was in everything in the 90s.
Yeah, well, he was like the poor man's Tom Hanks, so that's when they were trying to...
Yeah.
Well, big work, so let's do that. There was one not that long ago, a couple of years ago, Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman.
Yes.
I think they're brothers.
Yeah, I think you're
right.
And
they like piss in a fountain and they cross the streams and it swaps their bodies.
Of course it does.
I think that's the change up. Yeah, it is a bit of a strange one. But there you go. You can look forward to that. An addition to the genre.
I will look forward to that. I've got a news. Do you want to hear my news?
Yes, please.
Do you know who Madonna is?
Yes.
Good. I would hope so.
She is an actress and I think she's done a bit of singing. She
has, indeed. She sold a documentary to Netflix.
Okay.
It's a behind-the-scenes look at her life during her recent 2019/2020 Madam X tour.
Right. Okay. So, like, she's just basically done some home videos, and because she's Madonna. Yeah. Netflix, give me £10 million.
Basically, yes. Apparently, she's even edited it herself.
Well, there you go.
Because she's in lockdown. So,
hey, she's a film director. There is no reason to scoff at that.
That is true. Yeah, it's all about the backstage because she had to cancel a few dates because she's got bad hips and bad knees because she's
75.
an old lady now.
Yeah.
She's only 62.
Oh, okay. I
thought she was older than that as well. It surprised me. Apparently, Madam X is her alter ego.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Then no. I'm not in on Madonna fandom. Sorry.
It's a one-off special. Apparently, it's coming later this year. Cool. Any more?
No, you go again.
I've got one more. Let me get the link. Bear with. Not like I just read these off of a website or anything. But do you know who Tim Burton is?
Yes, he is a director and famous goth.
A goth director.
Yeah.
You're not his biggest fan, are you?
Kind of. I think
it's been a long time since he's done anything good.
My honest opinion is he has been coasting for the last 15 years.
Yeah, you think you're probably right.
And just taking the money. But then do you deserve to do that if you've... Because obviously, back in the day, he's produced some absolute classics that will be remembered forever. So
he stopped making original movies. He only does adaptations. And I think that's where it all went downhill from it for him.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think it's probably closer to 20 years than 15, to be fair.
Yeah, it probably is.
Was Big Fish his last original? Or was that might even be based on a book?
Yeah, but Big Fish was all right. I don't mind Big Fish.
Big Fish
but
is
that's
awesome.
got to be 20 years old, or nearly 20 years.
2003, I think.
Well, there you go, yeah.
I think Big Fish was.
Yeah, I just think he's coasted since then, really.
I agree. But like you say, there's a lot of classics and there's a lot of good stuff out there from him.
If you're going early days, you can't beat or juice Edward Scissorhands, fantastic. Yeah. Batman Returns, I'll stand up for that. A lot of people don't like it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's fair. Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, that isn't Tim Burton's, but
he didn't have much to do with. But yeah, good film.
Still a great film. He's going to make a TV show for Netflix.
Okay.
There's been rumours for a while. I've been reading rumours for a while that he's working on an Addams Family adaptation.
Okay.
But that isn't what it is. It is a spin-off to the Addams Family that will centre on Wednesday Addams. The news was announced by Netflix on Wednesday, and the show will be titled Wednesday. It will be a live-action 8-episode run described as a sleuthing, supernatural-infused mystery charting Wednesday's years as a student at the popular Nevermore Academy.
Right.
The series will chronicle Wednesday's attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree that has terrorised the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and very tangled relationship with the strange and diverse student body.
I mean...
it's a coming-of-age story about Wednesday.
It's ticking a lot of Tim Burton boxes, isn't it?
It's potentially going to be brilliant.
I don't know if I'm that excited to see I like everyone else in the Addams Family.
Yeah, but surely he's going to bring in some other characters as well. It's not just going to be her.
They're going to have to.
The poster's really... Have you seen the poster?
Yes, I have, yeah.
The poster's really good. She's basically playing a cello with a knife. If he casts it right, and if he gets it right, I think that's got real potential. Tim Burton and the Addams Family kind of go together. Do you know what I mean? It's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's interesting they're taking that approach and just going TV series, mystery... Because I'm not sure he's brave enough to take on. I think the early 90s Addams Family movies are really underrated.
Yeah, they are. Both of them are.
Yeah, I don't think they need redoing. So I think he gets a little pass for at least they're doing something a bit different. So.
Yeah, I agree. Did you see the animated film from a couple of years ago?
Yes.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I enjoyed that. I think they're all on Netflix actually.
I think they might be, yeah.
I think Netflix just has the Addams Family content. So yeah, keep your eye out for that. It doesn't give me a release date, but I'm sure it will come probably next year.
Sure.
That's it. I'm newsed out.
Okay.
Have you watched anything good at the top of the stream?
I just wanted to mention something. We mentioned it last week, and then I said I'd go and watch it, and I have watched it. And that is the 4-part documentary, Murder at the Cecil Hotel.
Oh yeah, is it good? I've not got to it.
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
So,
interesting.
I would say it's 2 really good episodes stretched out over 4 episodes.
Oh, okay, interesting.
It is quite an interesting story, but it really feels padded out at parts. I think
not enough there to make a 4-parter.
Yeah, and it's interesting because some of those like unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
Like I can't even remember if we said on the show, but at the time, some of them, a couple of them, you're like, I wanted more. This is like the opposite.
It should have just been a 1 episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
I think there's 2. I think there's 2 sort of 45-minute episodes here, and it would be really interesting, and it would tighten it up a lot. But it's 4 50-minute episodes, and it doesn't need that much. There's a lot of padding. There's a lot of repeated footage, and it's really clubs you over the head with some of the some of the stuff in there.
Maybe I'll miss it then.
I don't want to spoil it on here for people, but
no, obviously,
I don't want to say what sort of the outcome is if you're not familiar. But so it's a kind of thumbs in the middle for me.
Interesting. Maybe I'll miss it out then. There's too much good stuff to go watching boring stuff.
Yeah. How about you?
I've watched absolutely nothing on Netflix this week.
Okay.
The only thing I've watched on Netflix this week is the film we're about to talk about. But I have watched something this week. Have you heard of the Stand TV show that's been made?
Yes.
Obviously based on the Stephen King novel.
I have, yeah.
I can loosely bring it back to this show because somebody in it was in deadly detention.
Oh, okay.
So, is it Henry Zagas, I think his name is? He was the long-haired, good-looking guy in deadly detention. He's in the Stand, so I've made it fit, so I can talk about it as allowed.
Does he have a big part?
I don't know, he didn't get his trousers off. If it was an adaptation of the novel, then yes, he has a very big part, but his character's kind of reduced slightly in the...
Right.
Because the novel is obviously 1,500 pages long. It's the biggest novel he's ever written. And in 9 episodes of 50-minute episodes, it still felt rushed.
Okay.
It still felt like I couldn't develop enough relationship with what was going on. Because there's so much that goes on in the Stand that they had to try and squeeze everything in. But as an adaptation, it's really good. It's really, really good. It tells the story beautifully. All of it.
Oh, excellent.
I've literally binged it on Saturday and Sunday. I watched it all. The guy... Oh, also, what's his name's in it? Obviously. Alexander Skarsgård. And he's been on the show like 3 times.
Oh, he has. Yeah, that's true.
And he plays the main bad guy, Randall Flagg. And that's perfect casting for me. He plays it exactly how I imagined that character. Because obviously that character appears in a lot of Stephen King stuff. He plays it exactly how I've always imagined that character to be. So, yeah, it's really good. The last episode was written by Stephen King.
Yeah, he's altered it, hasn't he? Has he?
Yeah, a little bit.
And obviously, no spoilers again because
I'm not going to spoil anything.
But, but that's kind of the gimmick, isn't it? That he's been back and revisited it.
Yeah. So the story kind of ends in episode 8, and then you get an episode 9, and it's more like a prologue episode.
Okay.
And it's probably the worst one. Stephen King can't write TV. Stephen King's never been able to write TV. He just can't do it. And it does feel a little bit tacked on, but that end needed to be told. But whether it needed to be a whole episode, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of the story. Kind of. The story of the show finishes in episode 8, but they need to kind of tell you what happens after that.
Sure.
And that's what this episode is, and he wrote that episode.
But yeah, overall, in a few of his books, to be fair.
Yeah, it does. Overall, though, it's really good, and you should check it out. It's on Stars Play over here, which is, I think they're owned by Amazon, but it doesn't come included in your Amazon Prime. You have to pay extra for it. But you can get a 7-day free trial, so just do that and then cancel it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's well worth checking out. Because of that, that's all I've watched. I've not watched anything else.
Understandable. So we both last week said we would watch The News of the World starring Tom Hanks.
We did, indeed.
I have not.
Nor have I.
So I don't know whether to promise to watch it for next week, and then this could just become a non-running joke, possibly forever.
like with The Irishman that I've still never watched.
Yeah, but I eventually got to that.
You did get to that. I've still never got to it. But I do really want to watch News of the World. We'll make a joke of it, but at some point I will watch it. Because it does look really good. My parents have watched it. They both enjoyed it.
Well, we'll get them on instead.
So,
they can talk
shall we just get them on to talk about it? That'd be quite funny. I'll get them to record something over the weekend. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Cool, and me. Bye.
Sorry, I meant for news. Are we doing the top 10 or not? Or are we just cracking on?
No, crack on. No, we don't need to. I don't think.
In that case, I have got something else.
Okay, cool. What have we got?
I've got a little game to play.
Oh, nice. We haven't done a game for ages.
So, you it's your fault. Well, you inspired it, whichever way you want to look at it.
Worries me.
So, you texted me last night and you said, were you about to watch the movie Alex Strangelove, which is what we're talking about this week? And you said, do you know how old Daniel Doheny is?
Yes, I did say that.
And I presumed, because we've talked about this on the show before, he was a lot older than the character he's playing.
You could say that, yeah.
How old is Alex? 17?
16,
last
17.
Year yeah. Last year at school, aren't they? Applying for college and stuff. So he's 28 at the time of filming.
Correct. Or 27. His birthday is in dispute on the internet. I couldn't find an exact date, but most places say 1990/1991.
So 10 years older than the character.
Still, at some point this year, he's going to be 30 if he's not already.
Right.
And the film's 2 and a bit years old. So yeah, 27.
Cool. So that is far from a rare occurrence in the world of film and TV.
Nothing annoys me more. I was going to get into this in the episode, but nothing annoys me more.
Well, I've made a game out of it instead.
Good.
So,
excellent.
I've got a list of people, and you need to basically guess, is their age higher or lower than the one before them?
Okay.
As we play, What's My Age Again? We can't afford the song.
No.
So just imagine it. Our jingle's better anyway.
I've just played that.
Your starter is Daniel Doheny.
Okay.
So he was 28 playing Alex Strangelove, who was 17, 18.
Not 18. 16, 17.
Okay, fine. I want you to tell me for the next one. Was Stockard Channing older or younger than 28 when she played Rizzo in Grease, who was... Her character, Rizzo, was 17.
Was she older than Daniel Doheny at 28?
Correct.
I've heard of this woman. I have seen Grease, but not since I was a kid. I think she was older. I think this is like news, isn't it? It's like, what do you call it? Like a known fact that she was...
A famous
like,
example of
this.
Yeah,
a famous example, that's the word. Like she was like 50 when she made it or something.
She was older, you're correct. She was 33.
Wow.
Playing a 17-year-old. So the next one.
This game's going to really piss me off. I really hate it.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I know him.
When he first played Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, 15.
Yeah.
Was Andrew Garfield older than 33? Was he older or younger than Stockard Channing?
He was younger.
Correct, he was 29.
I think Andrew Garfield's the same age as us. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I had that in my head then. He was how many? So. How many? 23?
It was 29 when he first
29.
played Peter Parker, who was supposed to be 15. Okay, good. Next one is Jennifer Grey. Do you know her?
Yep.
So she played Baby in Dirty Dancing. Baby was supposed to be 17. So was she older or younger than 29, Andrew Garfield?
Younger.
Correct. She was 27.
Oh, that was a guess.
Playing a 17-year-old.
Shit.
So the next one, this one's going to be right up your alley. Because I know you're big on musicals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Played and won an Oscar for playing Yentl. Character of Yentl, the character of Yentl was 16. Was Barbara Streisand older or younger than 27?
What's Yentl? I've never even heard of it.
Have you not?
No.
It's a musical. It's quite famous.
No, don't know it. Older.
Correct, she was 41.
Fuck off. How did he get away with it? 41.
I mean, she was pretty famous already, so that's probably why. Yeah, 41, playing a 16-year-old. Okay, this is good. So you're streaking along so far. Yeah, so far. You're halfway through.
Oh God.
So the next one is Alan Ruck. He played Ferris Bueller's best friend Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Again, character's supposed to be 16, 17. Was he older or younger than 41?
Younger.
Correct, he was 29.
I know that's another famous example, that one, isn't it? But I didn't think he was older than 41.
He's been on this show as well. He was dad in Sierra Burgess's Loser.
He was.
Okay, next one. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
Played 17-year-old Frank Abagnale in Catch Me If You Can. How old was he at the time? Was he older or younger than 29?
He was only supposed to be 17 in Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah. Apparently did all his crimes between the ages 17 and 19.
I did not know that. I love Catch Me If You Can as well. DiCaprio, that's probably 15 years old.
Older or younger than 29?
Younger.
He was 28.
Ooh, I am nailing this game.
On. 3 left. Right. Shirley Henderson played Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter films.
Yep.
So let's go with the first. I think she was in the first movie, maybe the second one. I'm not big on my Harry Potter. It was definitely in one of the first couple. So Moaning Myrtle was the ghost student who haunted the bathrooms, wasn't she?
Yeah. I think it was Chamber of Secrets was her main one, but I think she's in a couple.
Okay. So Moaning Myrtle's 15.
Right.
How old was Shirley Henderson when she first played her? Was it... So we're looking for older or younger than 28?
Older.
Correct.
I think Shirley Henderson's quite... I don't want to say quite old, but...
She's
not a young
39 playing
20
a
years ago.
15-year-old.
Has she been on this
I know
show?
it's a
Haven't we
ghost.
talked about her before? I feel like we've talked about Shirley Henderson before.
I mean, that's not sticking in my head, but possibly.
Maybe.
Right, 2 left.
Go on.
To get a full house. Emma Thompson.
Yep.
Know her. Played... Oh, good. So she again won an Oscar for this movie. I think it was for writing though. I think it was for the screenplay. So she played Eleanor Dashwood in Sense and Sensibility. Eleanor Dashwood, the character, was 19 years old. Was Emma Thompson older or younger than 39?
Younger.
She was, but not by much. She was 36.
Oh, I don't know why I'm doing so well. I'm quite proud of myself.
So the last one for a full house.
Yep.
Ian Somerhalder.
Yes, I know him. He was in
also
Lost.
Been on this show.
Yes, he has. And he was
More
in
importantly,
Lost.
he was in The Anomaly.
Yep.
In The Vampire Diaries,
Yes.
he played a 25-year-old.
Yep.
Now, admittedly, this might be a bit of a cheat because I think technically he was about 200 years old because he's a vampire and all that. But he played a 25-year-old. In the last series of The Vampire Diaries,
Yep.
how old was Ian Somerhalder playing a 25-year-old? Was he older or younger than 36? For a clean sweep.
I'm just thinking because he was in Lost, and that's a lot older than The Vampire Diaries, and he was not young in that. Older.
You've done it, correct?
Yes.
He was 38.
Wow. I think he played old in Lost as well. I think he was playing a lot younger than he should have been in Lost.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
How
So,
have I just done
I
that?
couldn't, but
Just got all of them right. How many was there?
10.
Wow. I'm well proud of myself.
Swept the table.
Maybe I've got this thing. I know celebrity ages.
I couldn't believe the differences of some of those.
That's mad.
Between the
Absolutely
character.
madness. It really angers me. There are people out there who are 16, 17, 18 who are actors. So what do they do? What roles do they
They play older. Play old
I just
people.
don't understand it. So, like I watched that film the other week with Jack Dylan Grazer in it, right? He's 17.
Sure.
Why not just cast him in a film as a 17-year-old? Because he's 17. He's been acting since he was 10. He knows what he's doing.
Because he's not Leonardo DiCaprio?
I just don't understand it. There are good teen actors out there and actresses, especially these days.
Well, it's one of those mysteries.
It is. I wanted to have a rant about that, so I'm glad you've done that. I enjoyed that very much. Right, shall we talk about this week's film? We've waffled
Let's
on
do
for
it.
half an hour. Okay, this week we watched a film called Alex Strangelove. Alex Strangelove was made in 2018. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 39 minutes, currently rated at 6.3 on IMDb, and it is a Netflix original. Stars a guy called Daniel Doheny, who we've just been talking about, who is like old. He plays a character called Alex Strangelove, and you would know him if you followed the show for a while because he was in The Package, which is another teen drama.
It was definitely not a drama. I'm not having that.
Fair play. He hasn't really. He's a bit of a Netflix darling. Apparently, this film was cast and was being made before Netflix brought it as a Netflix original, and they cast him in it. They got rid of somebody and put him in it instead. Kind of Netflix, kind of like him, I think.
Okay, fine.
Also stars a lady called Madeline Weinstein, who plays a character called Claire. Nothing really on her IMDb of note, so I'm not going to talk about her. And also stars Antonio Marzial, who plays a character called Elliot. And if you're a Netflix fan, you might have seen him in Altered Carbon. He's in that.
I haven't watched that.
No, I haven't either.
I thought I might, and then it got cancelled, and I don't know if it actually ended.
I don't think it did. I think it got proper cancelled, didn't it? Written and directed by a guy called Craig Johnson, who has a few films on his IMDb before this, but nothing since, interestingly enough. Do you have a one-word review of Alex Strangelove?
Amphibious. Just wanted to say amphibious.
Good one. Good one. I like it. Where does this film start, Nick?
There's a shark.
There is. I put seagulls and seals.
Oh, yeah, there was Yeah, well, then the shark ate the seal,
Yeah.
didn't it? And basically, we're getting a commentary from what turns out to be Alex. So kind of narrating a nature documentary and comparing the animals that we are seeing to individuals at his high school.
Yes.
So the shark's the school bully. There's like an ungainly bird. Is it a spoonbill? But then it's beautiful.
I thought you meant the girl in the school then. She's an ungainly bird.
Well, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then she came back from summer holiday, and then this bird takes flight, and she's
she was
beautiful.
fit.
It's this kind of like she's all that type thing. You know, you're seeing these cliches already, aren't we?
Yeah.
And Alex Strangelove we are introduced to, and he's a massive wildlife nerd.
Yes,
basically.
big style. He says he doesn't know what animal he would describe himself as because he's a virgin. I don't think you get virgin animals. But he says maybe a penguin. He describes his mates as his group. He's got a group of friends, and he describes I don't know how you pronounce this word. The monkeys with the dick faces. Proboscis.
Yeah. Sorry, you just made me laugh. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
He describes his mates as proboscis monkeys because they're obsessed with the size of their dicks. We find out at this point as well that Alex is the student president, recently elected student president.
Sure.
He's a bit of a nerd. And he's in a class and he gets talking to the girl he's sitting next to because she's drawing an octopus. And we've already established that Alex is obsessed with animals, and it turns out this girl is as well. He identifies the octopus that she's drawing, and the rest is history, as they say.
He's a nerd, but he's not getting bullied, is
No,
he? So he's reasonably respected. You know, he's not. It's not like he's getting his head shoved down and flushed, is it?
Yeah, I think he's classed himself as mid-range.
Yeah,
mid-level. So he manages to pick up this new girl, and she's called Claire. And everybody around the school's kind of getting into relationships and stuff. So they decide to start like a David Attenborough style wildlife show around the school.
Yeah, it's like they commentate.
It's a comedy wildlife reference show, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're like sneaking around the library filming kids aren't they? That sounds wrong. Like students. Yeah, and then they're adding their commentary over, aren't they? Like, oh, we found a nest of library geeks and in their own habitat, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Then he asks her to go to the homecoming dance with him, and there's a Carrie reference at this point, so I was all in from there. I'm like, right.
Yeah, they go in costume, don't they? They're the only people who go in costume.
Yeah, they don't take it seriously. They go as Carrie and Billy. I don't know, the guy who Carrie goes with.
In years.
And then after that, there's a montage of them going to loads of school dances, all dressed up in different fancy dress costumes.
Yeah, this school has a lot of dances.
It does. There's a lot. He goes to pick her up for one of these dances, and she's not ready. She's not getting ready because her mum's been taken to hospital. So she's obviously all a bit down and depressed by this.
Sure.
So he ditches the dance off as well, and he goes in and they just sit and chat. And eventually they end up kissing. And he turns, after they finished, he turns to her and goes, "Did we just ruin our friendship?" But they hadn't. They are now official, I guess, is how the kids call it these days.
Sure.
They are boyfriend and girlfriend, and they go to a date go on a date to an aquarium. And then the film kind of flashes forward a little bit.
Yeah, they've been together for a while.
I think it goes forward a couple of years because it says we're now in our senior year. We have not had sex yet, and he thinks this is the girl he's going to marry. And that because he does like a bit of a voiceover over the top of this, doesn't he?
Yeah, the voiceover's kind of in and out through the movie, isn't it? Because it's not
always there. It's like you just need.
I think it pretty much drops off for the second half, actually.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. You're right. From there, it hits into.
Just before you go on, just worth note. In all the movies we've watched, this is the least notes I have ever made.
Really?
Yes.
That's really interesting because I've got 15 pages.
How many do you think I've got?
Well, I know you don't make anywhere near as many as me, so 5, 6?
4.
4?
Yeah.
I've got 15. Who's doing all the work here, Nick?
This will be interesting. It's quality, not quantity.
Absolutely. Cut from there to the title card of the film, and we cut back to 3 guys who are young teen boys. They're not, but they're playing young teen boys.
It's Alex's crew.
There is crew, yeah. There is lads, and they're comparing the craziest places they've had sex.
Clearly, they're all lying.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, everybody's lying. Claire and Alex approach, and she reveals that they haven't had sex yet. And she says, Alex won't let me de-virginize him.
Yeah.
And she's been trying...
I wrote, she throws him under the bus.
She massively...
And then the very next scene, he says, you just threw me under the bus.
Yeah. She's been trying for 8 months, apparently, and he's got too much respect for it, I think is how he describes it. And his mates kind of rip him for it a little bit.
Yeah, they say he's got no dick.
Yeah, basically. And he goes into this cafe wherever they are, and he says, you just made me look like a prudish, sexophobic freak. And she says, well, isn't that true? So they have this discussion. Yeah, they have this discussion, and it basically evolves into them deciding to get a hotel room at the weekend so they can do the naughty.
Yeah.
Cut to the classroom. Now, I'm hoping this next bit was in his head. Because the teacher tells the entire class that Alex is going to have sex at the weekend.
Oh, it is, yeah. He just zoned out.
It had, but it made no reference to the fact that he had, and it was very weird scene.
What did you want? Did you want the whole, like, Wayne's World?
Yeah, absolutely did want that, yeah. Or at least him snapping out of it and realising that it wasn't real.
Yeah, it was quite subtle. But this is the first tell you get that this guy massively overthinks everything.
Yeah.
He's literally just agreed to do this, and he's already worried.
He lives in his own head.
Totally.
He confides in his best mate. His best mate's called Dal.
Yeah.
And Dal, for me, was the absolute highlight of this film.
It was great.
He was by far the best character in it. He made me laugh a good few times. And you know me in comedies, I don't do it very often. Much like Alex.
This film missed him
when it wasn't in it.
Into the second half.
Agreed. Completely agreed. He was the best thing about it. He plays Alex's best mate, and Alex confides in him that this is going to happen, but he needs Dal's help because Dal's got a sister who is 18, which is how I knew that they weren't 18, because they need to be 18 to book the hotel room.
Correct.
So Dal agrees to talk his sister into letting him do this. And then we get a bit of a history on Dal and who he is. So he has a crush on the most popular girl in school, who is called Sophie.
Correct.
And when they were a lot younger, he sent her a lot of topless selfies.
Yeah.
when he was 11.
Yeah.
And since then, he's never really lived that down.
No, exactly. They all went around the whole.
Yeah,
school.
she obviously went and told everybody about it because he looks like a little nerdy wimp in these pictures. Because he's 11, and that's what 11-year-olds look like. Cut from there to Alex and Claire in a car together. They're going somewhere. I don't know where they were going, but they're going somewhere in a car. And she tells him, she realises that he's starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably stressing out already.
And she realises this, and she's like, look, don't overthink this. Don't freak out. Let's just have a fun time. Don't worry about it. In the next scene, Alex has got one of these proboscis monkeys as a toy. Like a cuddly
Yeah, he's got like a soft toy, hasn't
and
he?
he's starting to practice his sex chat on it.
Yeah, he's like telling this monkey he's going to like stick his dick in it.
Very graphic, very awkward is what I've written. He doesn't hold back on what he's telling this monkey he's going to do to it. Claire catches him doing this.
No, I thought it was his mum that walked in.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. It was his mum. His mum walked in and said, Claire's here.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That was it. And then Claire comes downstairs and reveals that she's going to Columbia, which is the college that they're trying to get into, both of them.
Oh, right. Not the country.
Not the country, no. Because she's in the house. She isn't in Columbia.
I just thought it was a holiday. No, I didn't really.
And then the True family come out to congratulate her. Alex's dad and Alex's mum come out, congratulate Claire. They all have a bit of a...
Yeah. It turns out that Alex has also applied there.
Yes.
But as yet, he has not received a letter.
No, Claire says that she applied early.
Either way.
Didn't she? So
that's their plan. Their plan is they're going to both go to the same college as boyfriend and girlfriend. Happy days.
Yep, grow old together, live happily ever after. To celebrate this, they decide there's a drama party, a party being held by the drama club. And they decide to go to this. So Alex and Dal and Claire go to this party. They don't tell Dal that it's a drama party before he gets there because he doesn't like drama kids.
He thinks they're all dramatic.
Basically what they are. The rest of Alex's friends are there as well. One of them, I think his name was Josh.
Yes.
He was the most nondescript friend. He wasn't really important to the plot. He has brought himself a psychedelic frog. frog/toad.
Yeah.
Because the film doesn't describe whether it's a frog or a toad because it calls it both about 4 times. And obviously, you know what you do with a psychedelic toad frog. You're supposed to give it a lick.
Of course you do.
And then it starts doing drugs. It trips you out. So Alex is...
Cost him $1,100 to smuggle this into the country.
Where on earth he's got that from?
What did you think of this? No, I thought this was... We'll talk about the actual scene, because I actually thought it was... The whole bit of this party was really good.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a bit of a abrupt turn, wasn't it?
It really... Do you think it was funny for funny's sake? Because it could have just been drugs. It was like, let's make it funnier because it's a frog.
I more mean the sort of whole tone of this next scene was like, we've started off with a kind of quite sweet but pretty serious movie, and then someone's just put in 10 to 15 minutes of American Pie.
Yeah, this scene does stand out. And as different from the rest of the film.
It felt like it was a bit not shoehorned in. Trying to
grab the audience early, isn't it? And it works because it's a really funny scene, and it is really.
It is really funny, but it was a bit of an abrupt change of direction.
Yeah, and then after the scene as well, it goes back to what it was before. It does. Yeah. It is different. It does stand out from the rest of the film. Del licks this frog before Alex is trying to stop anybody doing it because he's the school president and he doesn't want to get caught licking frogs. But Del just does it. He just grabs this frog and licks it. Alex storms off. He's not happy about it. And he goes upstairs where he meets some... I've called them stoner kids.
I've just put weed couple.
Weed couple. This is Elliot and Gretchen. We'll cut back to them in a minute because we cut back down to the friends and they've lost this frog now. After Del licked it and then he let it go. And we don't know where this frog is. So they have to start looking for it because it cost Josh $1,100. And Del turns to one of them and says, have you looked down by the singing garden hose?
Yeah.
And then it cuts from Del's perspective and there's a garden hose with googly eyes singing at him.
Yeah, it's like almost stop motion garden hose.
And that wouldn't have made me laugh, but his reaction to that, his facial reaction really made me laugh.
Yeah, it was great.
Honestly, he's the best thing about this film. Cut back upstairs. Gretchen and Elliot reveal that Elliot is gay, and they all get stoned together. Alex is even in on this as well.
Elliot got thrown out of his house because his dad doesn't like gays,
yeah.
So he's living with Gretchen. Alex gets on with them both, so they're just chatting, and we keep intercutting, don't we, between him talking to those guys and Del sort of tripping balls,
massively
wandering around this party.
It's so funny. Cut back to Del from there. Del gets dragged into a game that the drama club are playing, where it's like noise tag, I guess. So one person makes a noise and points at somebody else and they have to make the same noise.
Yeah, and you have to do a bit of drama.
Yeah, basically. Del gets dragged into playing this game with them. And he starts hallucinating, and he's hallucinating a fireball that they're passing between them.
Yeah.
And then it comes flying at him, and he dodges out of the way of it and ends up falling through a drum kit. And again...
Yeah, and all the other drama kids are like, oh, he's so great. Yeah, who is this kid? What an actor.
And it's really funny. Del, from there, kind of goes and takes a bit of time for himself because he's feeling the effects of this now. And he finds a pantry of some description that for some reason has got
well stocked
huge jars of sweets in it.
Yeah, he's found Willy Wonka's pantry.
Basically, yeah. And he sees these gummy worms and they start talking to him. And they are begging him to eat them. So he does. All of them.
Yeah.
Elliot and Alex and Gretchen are still stoned and lying on this bed, sharing their hopes and dreams together. And just basically stoned, aren't they? They're just having one of these conversations that you have when you're stoned. Claire comes in, she's wasted, she's drunk. She's looking for Alex, she's found him. So she gets in. She's
like, you fucking little stone.
Yeah. And she again reveals to people that they don't have sex. For the second time, even though she got told off.
The first thing she says.
Even though she has the first time. Elliot picks up something in Claire's tone, though. And you can see in his eyes that something clicks in his head. Claire and Alex leave because Alex is embarrassed by his drunk girlfriend. Been there, haven't you, Nick?
Yeah, and Claire's like, let's do it now. Let's just it doesn't matter. And do they get home?
No, they go to the bathroom at the party.
Yeah, I couldn't remember whose house the bathroom was in.
Yeah, because she's like, we'll go to the bathroom. And she pushes him into the bathtub. And she gets in with him and she's like, let's do it now in this bathtub. Just as they start kissing, Dal comes in. This is how you know it's still at the party. And he looks a bit worse for wear. He looks like he's going to throw up. And then he does. Projectile vomits all over Alex and Claire, but it's just pieces of gummy worms.
Yeah.
And it literally showers them in it. It's really gross.
In a way, it was beautiful.
Yeah, the colours were amazing. Didn't Alex say that as well? Didn't he say in a way it's beautiful or something like that?
Something like that. It was a line similar to that.
It's disgustingly
but
beautiful.
I meant more. The way it was shot was possibly one of the nicest cinematography I've ever seen for vomit.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So what they do, they decide they've got to go home now. They're covered in gummy worms and vomit. So do they go back to Claire's house? And
yes.
All three of them. They leave Del out in the garden. And they go to bed together. Alex borrows one of her hoodies, and they sleep in the same bed, but they don't do anything because Claire's drunk and tired.
She's totally wasted, and he's still snowing.
And you can hear they're having a conversation, and you can hear Del outside, and he's just shouting at the garden. He calls out one of the garden gnomes at one point. It's just really funny. Alex wakes up the next morning. He's fine. He's not hungover in the slightest. Claire's still asleep. Del's now asleep on their bedroom floor because Alex trips over him when he gets out of bed. And he's got a text. And his text is from this guy you met last night called Elliot. Claire asks him, she's like, who? Because she wakes up and she's like, who's this text from? And he tells her. He doesn't lie about it. He's like, oh, it's that guy I met last night. He wants me to go to a gig in Brooklyn with him.
Yeah, he's like, his mate dropped out. He's got a spare ticket.
Yeah, some sort of...
She's like, yeah, no, you go for it. I'm just going to stay in bed all day because my head's off.
Yeah, I'm wasted. So they do, Elliot and Alex, who only met the night before, you have to remember, but they seem to have this chemistry already. And they go to this gig, they have a great time, they go out for some food afterwards, and Elliot reveals that Gretchen was never supposed to be going. He just had 2 tickets and he wanted to invite Alex, which puts up a red flag in Alex's head, I guess, because he says to her, I do have a girlfriend who I love. And he makes that quite clear at this point.
Yeah, but then it's about, I think it's already the third time in this film, it's the conversation of, it's the third different person telling Alex, don't worry about it, don't, you worry too much.
Yeah.
Like you say, I've only met you 24 hours ago, but I can already see you worrying too much about this whole, doing the naughty with your girlfriend. Just go with it.
Just chill out, yeah. Elliot's a lot more laid back than Alex. He's like, he just goes with the flow a little bit more. This is the point where I wrote down their ages. I was like, Daniel Doheny is 30. Antonio Marzial is 27. And they do get into the conversation about the shacks. And Alex...
All right, Sean Connery.
The shacks. That was quite good, wasn't it?
Was it?
Alex admits to Elliot that he's a virgin, that Claire isn't a virgin, and he's worried that he won't measure up. He won't be like... She'll compare him to her previous conquests, I guess. And Alex asks the eternal question of how did you know you were gay? And Elliot responds with the eternal answer of how did you know you were straight? They're just getting to know each other, aren't they? They're just talking and having a good night out together.
I can see why your notes are longer than mine.
I go into a lot more detail than you do.
Do you want to know what I've put?
Go on.
I've put, there's, Elliot tells him not to worry. There's lots of life talk, then they nearly kiss.
They do
that's
nearly
about
kiss.
10 minutes.
They do nearly kiss. Alex spots that that's about to happen, so he backs away. And he's like, right, we need to call it a night. Let's go home. Yeah. So Elliot drops him at home. When he gets there, Claire's at his house for some reason. So Elliot kind of says, right, I'll leave you to it, see what she wants, basically. He kind of over-explains what's been going on.
He's horrible to her.
He isn't nice to her this because she calls him out a little bit. She asks him if they made out. She's only joking because she has no. Yeah. She's like, and he kind of.
She's hit a nerve.
She hit exactly that.
She wasn't trying to.
She hits a nerve that she wasn't trying to hit, and so he explains what's going to happen or what's been happening. And he calls her a crazy stalker. And
he's like, "What are you doing on my doorstep at this time of night?"
Yeah,
I thought we weren't seeing each other today.
Yeah.
Which and he's really aggressive, not nice to her. And Claire says, "Well, actually, I've come straight from the hospital. I've just been there all day with my mum, and I really needed to see a friendly face."
Yeah, which makes him feel instantly terrible.
Oh, shit.
So she goes home and she starts making a YouTube video about him and how high school boys are horrible and all this. How the standard type of girl rant. I've written. She knows he's going to watch this, right? But then before she gets to finish it, her mum comes in, and she's kind of the voice of reason at this point because she's like, she actually says all men are shit, is basically what she says. But she's like, high school boys are terrible. They're all the same. But Alex is a decent guy, and you know he is, and you need to remember that, I guess.
It's basically, you need to talk to him, find out what's going on, but don't waste your energy being angry.
Yeah, that's what she says. Don't waste your energy being angry. Forgive him and move on. Being angry is an exhausting way to spend your day, is what she says, which is a very true sentiment.
Yeah.
Then something really weird happens. It's the next morning. Alex is looking for some cereals. He's also having this existential crisis going on in his head. And he can't decide between the cereals. And he's got Honey-O's and he's got Crispy Flakes. And the Honey-O box suddenly turns and says Heteros.
Yeah.
And then the Crispy Flakes become Gay Flakes because they couldn't think of a pun for that one. And the Rice Crunchies become Bi Crunchies because, again, they couldn't think of a pun. As soon as he sees the word Bi Crunchies, he thinks, I might be bi. That makes sense.
Right. Again, this felt like a weird turn. Like, this is the only time this happens.
It was a weird turn.
If there was more little sequences like this peppered through this movie, I think you got to shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
You've got that little bit with...
Don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Or do it. Have it as a theme.
You've got the little bit with Dal that you can explain with the singing garden hose because he was on drugs, but Alex is not on drugs at this point, and it's just a little gimmicky way to do it, and I didn't like it.
It's sort of a little animation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It changes the design of the boxes. So
yeah. If
that's how we're deciding, we're representing his thoughts. I'm fine with it. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
But
then
I'm
they'd never do it again.
I'm not. Exactly. So we've got a voiceover for part of it. Then we've got this sort of stuff. I'm a bit like, let's just make our decision.
Yeah.
I'm maybe getting into the technicality.
I think you're right. But
it stuck out and not necessarily in a good way for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm like, I don't mind what you go with, but let's just
stick with
one.
it. Yeah. So he realises that he thinks he's bi. So he goes and tells Dal everything. He's got no shame to tell Dal anything. And he tells him, he says, I think I'm bi. But Dal's not having any of it. He's like, you're not. You've just got a man crush on somebody. And to prove that the fact that...
Did you get... I actually wrote his line down.
Go on.
He says, do you like listening to Panic at the Disco whilst jerking off to pictures of vampires? Because if you don't, then you're not bi.
Yeah. But he also does a different thing to prove that Alex isn't bi. He just stands up and gets his cock out. And he's like, do you like the look of that? And Alex is like, no, I don't like the look of that. And he's like, well, this is the finest specimen you're going to see. And if you don't like that, you don't like any of them. And it really made me laugh. It was really, he doesn't have any shame. All the girls could see it as well. Everybody could see it. And then Del goes through everybody being like bisexual, polysexual, polyamorous, whatever. And he's like, isn't anyone just plain straight anymore? And he's like, what you have is a man crush on a gay guy. So Alex is like, well, maybe I'm not bi then. Maybe I'm just like everybody else. And there's this dilemma's going on, and he can't get any like purchase on it. He doesn't know what's going on in his head. But I thought that was a really funny. Every time Del's in this film, it's really funny. But he's just not in it enough. So what he does, he goes to see Claire because he's like, I need to make up with Claire. She's had a bit of a chat with him. Well, as we know, she had a bit of a chat with him, and they end up forgiving each other. There's a really weird scene where they write down their feelings to each other. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, they pass notes, don't they?
And she thinks that maybe the whole hotel idea is putting too much pressure on him. Then they can cancel it if he wants. But he's like, no, we're doing it. Let's do it. I'm up for it. So he goes to buy some condoms.
Yeah.
And when he's in the store looking at the different types of condoms, he bumps into Elliot, which is quite bad timing because he's got a box of extra large in his hands at the time, and which perks Elliot's interest, obviously. And then they leave together. And they go back to Elliot's house.
Yeah. I didn't... Maybe I missed it. I'm not sure why he got in his car, but then, yeah, they eventually end up going back to Elliot's house.
Because he's in love with him.
Because he wants to... Yeah.
They need to chat as well. They need to talk as well.
Yeah.
They go back to Elliot's house. They listen to some B-52s together because that's what gay guys do. And then Alex kisses him.
Yeah, they do a kiss.
They do a kiss. But Alex starts it, which I thought was quite interesting.
He does, yeah.
And then he instantly stops it and apologises, and he freaks out, and he eventually leaves.
Yeah, he's a ball bag. This time he's a ball bag to Elliot.
But that's understandable. I mean, he does not know what's going on in his head at this point.
No.
And he gets home, and his dad starts pressuring him about college because he still hasn't heard anything from Columbia. So he has a bit of a row with his dad as well. And then we cut to the next scene, and Del and his sister, I didn't catch his sister's name, are in the car with Elliot and Claire. Not Elliot and Claire, that'd be weird. Alex and Claire. And they're in the hotel car park, and Del's sister's just been in to book the hotel room.
Yeah, they've done it. They've got the motel
They've got the
room.
motel room, and they go in. They're at the hotel. Or motel. It's a bit of a dive, but it's quite nice. It's
preparing for naughty.
Prepare for the naughtiness. So Claire goes into the bathroom to freshen up. Alex takes his trousers off. Basically, that's all he does. And then
he puts like a handkerchief over the lamp.
Oh yeah, he does do that, and he's got some champagne as well, hasn't he? And he can't decide what pose to be in on the bed, because he's like, do I do a sexy pose? Do I just sit on the bed? Do I lie on the bed? It's quite funny. But he leaves his top on. He just takes his trousers off, and again, just made me chuckle. And then Claire comes back in some very sexy undergarments, and he's like, "Oh, they look very nice." And then, well, that's basically what he said. And then they have a kiss. This bit actually made me spit my drink out, because they're kissing and starting to do the naughty, and he just says to her, "Touch my balls." It's making me laugh now. It was so fun. Just the timing of it was immaculate, and I just took a drink and it went everywhere.
Yeah, it goes straight in with that request.
And it makes her laugh as well, as much as it made me laugh. It makes her laugh. It kind of breaks the tension a little bit, because he's all embarrassed by it. So she goes under the covers and she starts going south. Don't want to get too graphic, but she goes down under the covers. And he seems to be enjoying it. He's got a smile on his face. And then he's like,
that was quite, because he was like, oh,
actually, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not gay. And then he's like, right, I'm ready. And he grabs a condom and he can't put it on. So he's like, oh, this isn't working. So he's like,
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. So he starts playing with her instead. And then he imagines Elliot standing there with no top on next to them, and now he is ready. They start to actually do the proper naughty. And then he says the fateful line. He says, "Isn't this weird having sex with your best friend?"
Yeah, man.
Kills the moment instantly. She stops him.
A thing to say.
What a ridiculous thing to say.
Partner, regardless of if they are, what their sex is.
Yes.
I mean, wow.
She is not impressed. She stops him, pushes him off. She sits up and she's like, "Look, I want to know what's going on with you. Why are you so reluctant to do this?" And she actually says to him, "Are you gay?" And they have a massive argument about it.
Yeah, but she doesn't go straight to that. But she lists a load of stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She says, "Are you nervous? Are you worried about something else?" Is it? And then she just adds that on the end, doesn't she?
She doesn't have any suspicions that he might be. It's just that's one of the things that she's asking. She can't get her head around why you won't do this. I mean, they have a massive argument, and he says to her, I like somebody else.
He blurts it out. He says, "Well, have you considered that I might like someone else?"
Yeah. And she instantly starts crying at that, because that hadn't even crossed her mind.
No, of course
not. Even a little bit crossed her mind. But she says, "Who is it?" And he's like, "I can't tell you who it is." So she cries and cries and cries, and eventually kicks him out. Cut to the next day, or later on that day, and his mum comes into his room, and she's got a letter for him from Colombia, and he opens it, and then he says, "Can I be alone?" And that's never mentioned ever again. No. I don't know if he got in or if he didn't get in or what.
I mean, I presume not.
Presumably not, because he lay on his bed and started crying. So I'm presuming he didn't. But it doesn't actually ever
Unless
tell you.
Unless he was sad because he did, and now he's got to
live with Claire.
See that girl.
Possibly. They never tell you either way, so we'll never know.
It would have been nice for it to have been closed off.
It would have been nice to be told, yes, because it's been quite a theme all the way through this so far. The next day at school, he's quite distracted. He's just ignoring everybody. He even ignores Dal at one point, but Dal grabs him and is like, "You don't ignore me. That never happens." And he admits, he's like, "I think we broke up." And he's down. He's depressed. He's upset. He doesn't know what's going on in his head. He's all over the place. So he goes home that night, and he's lying on his bed, and suddenly he sees some monkeys at his window. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And then one of them comes in. It's like men dressed as monkeys. So he thinks he's being robbed. So he throws something at one of them, and it turns out he's smashed his mate's face in. It was Dal and his two mates, Josh, and I do not know the name of the other one.
I don't even know if he was named, to be honest.
No, I don't know if he was.
Friend 3.
So they thought it'd be funny to come to his house as dressed as monkeys, and Dell ends up with
They
a
were
smashed
basically
up face.
going to kidnap him.
Yeah.
They were basically going to kidnap him to take him to a frat party, because their thinking was, well, you wouldn't have voluntarily come, so we were basically going to put you in a bag and drag you away.
And Alex is like, I've literally just split with my girlfriend. I'm not going to a party with you. I don't want to hang out with you guys. And Dal has a really serious moment because he spits some home truths at Alex and he tells him, look, you need to sort your shit out. You get your life together, basically. It's a really good little speech. And it actually convinces Alex to go. So they do go. And he's like, maybe it's Claire's fault. They're having this conversation on the way there. He's like, maybe she's been holding me back. Maybe I'm going to be, now I'm young, free and single. Maybe I'm going to be a player and I'm going to sleep with all the girls.
Yeah, maybe.
just as he's walking through the door of the party, he gets a text from Elliot and he's like, we need to talk, which pushes him over the edge. He gets drunk, badly drunk at this party.
Yeah, and sweaty drunk.
Yeah, horrible drunk. We've all been there. And he decides he meets this girl and he goes upstairs with this girl. Cut to Claire. Claire is with Stacey. Stacey is her best friend and the one that Dell had the not Stacey. What's her name? Sophie. So where did I get Stacey? I know. I'll tell you why. That's because that's my cousin's names, both of them. Claire and Sophie go to. They decide to start stalking Alex because they want to know what he's up to, and they know how to find out where he is because we know that Dell's got this crush on Sophie and will tell him anything. So he tells her where they are.
Yeah, straight away.
It doesn't even question it.
It's like,
Sophie's coming to this party. I'm at. Absolutely. I'm at. That this is going to happen. And they do. Cut back to the party. Alex is making out with this girl now. And she takes her top off. And again, it really made me laugh because he went, oh, look at those honkers. They're in a bedroom together. And it was so funny. Bits of this film are really funny. Like, really funny. Claire and Sophie turn up at this party. They find Dell. He's like, Alex is here, but I do not know where he is. I haven't seen him for a while, which is the truth. He doesn't know where he is. Because he's upstairs in this bedroom with this girl, and they're trying to do the naughty again. But again, it's not working. He can't do it. She is not as compassionate as Claire, so she throws him off. Literally throws him out of the bed. Just as that happens, Claire walks in. So all she sees is them tangled up in covers together. So she obviously jumps to conclusions.
Yeah, and she turns heel and walks off.
She does. She walks off. At the same time, this girl's boyfriend walks in, tries to fight Alex. Alex is like, no, don't, I'm naked. And
he's like a bigger boy, isn't he?
So he throws Alex out into the main party area with no clothes on. He's just got this sheet around him. And Dal rescues the day. Dal says, look, if you want to fight him, you need to come through me first. So
yeah, he takes a bullet.
He does take the bullet because this guy punches Dal in the face. This is the second time in the night Dal's been hit in the face. And that gives Alex enough time to escape. So he runs away from this party. Claire is walking down the street. She's also left the party. She's crying. And then she finds this toad.
Yeah, because she's also a wildlife nerd. She goes, oh, look, it's a lesser spotted, reticulated
dog?
Psychedelic tree frog.
How it's got there, because this house wasn't the same house that the other party was at.
No.
So I don't know how it's... There's something you have to forgive this film for, I think.
Yeah, we can just about allow that contrivance, I think.
So she sees this frog/toad, and then she realises Alex is looking for her, so she starts to hide. She hides behind a tree. We get a bit of a moment now between Dell and Sophie. Dell's pissed off that Sophie revealed to Claire where they were, because she's kind of ruined the night. And she's like, and he calls her evil. He's like, Sophie, you're evil. And she's like, I'm not evil. And she's like, you're evil because you tricked me. He calls her out. He's like, you're a twat. That's basically what he says.
Yeah, he says, you've always been horrible to me. Yeah,
ever since we were kids, you've just been horrible to me. And I've always liked you. And she apologises to him. And she shows him her phone. And she's still got these pictures on her phone. And he's like, oh, you've kept them? And she's like, yeah, they're adorable. And it's like, it's a bit weird that you've got pictures of an 11-year-old on your phone. But it's fine, I guess. And he says to her, I'll send you some updated ones if you want. And she's like, let's take this one step at a time. So things are heating up between Dell and Sophie, which is also nice.
Yeah, they're on friendly terms. I would say.
Cut back to Alex. Alex is looking for Clay. He's got his clothes from somewhere. because he got kicked out of the party naked. But he's got his clothes
that's
on.
true. I hadn't considered that.
He also finds this frog, and he follows this frog because
Yep.
he's trying to catch it because it's Josh's £1,100 frog. And it goes into somebody's back garden, and it actually jumps in someone's swimming pool.
Yeah, it's a nice.
It is a nice pool. And Alex falls in because he's trying to get this frog, and he ends up falling in. And he has a flashback because this is the moment where he realizes his entire life is going to change from this point onwards, I guess.
Yeah, so he has a flashback to being a lot younger, either at summer camp or school.
Yeah. Like 12, 13 maybe?
Ish, yeah, I guess. And all the lads are getting a shower, aren't they, after swimming, I presume, because they're all in swimming shorts. And yeah, basically he gets ridiculed, doesn't he? Because he gets a shower boner.
He does, indeed. And all the boys pick on him for it. And it's it's almost like a repressed memory, I guess. I think so. I think that's what they were trying to tell you, that like this has always been there. It's always been in his mind. And now he's finally come to terms with it. He gets out of the pool. This flashback ends. He gets out of the pool, and Claire finds him. And the very first thing he says to Claire is, "I'm gay. You were right." And he reveals it to himself and to her at the same time, I think.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
She really was. So her reaction to it was brilliant.
For the next couple of minutes, I think it was the best bit of acting in this. So her reaction to Alex telling her that he was gay. And then there's a really nice scene, she takes him home again back to her house.
I think she takes him to his house.
No, I think they were both at her house.
Okay, I thought it was his.
Well, it doesn't really matter. She
matter.
tucks him in anyway.
Yeah.
And he sort of says, I'm really sorry, but obviously he's still drunk. Yeah. But she is devastated.
Completely. Yeah.
And she plays it really well. But she manages to hold it together until she goes upstairs and sees her mum. And then she
cries
just,
all over her mum.
She just falls apart. I thought it was great. It was
a really, really touching.
She played it really well.
Yeah, it was. The next night they meet up. They sit in the car together. They're both crying. They're both having this chat that I guess you have to have. He tells her that it's Elliot that he likes, which she kind of had guessed anyway, I think.
Yeah.
He's like, she says, look, you've got to be honest. You can't ignore it. But she's like, how did you not know this? And he's like, well, you just ignore it, don't you? And then, because she's like, her 12-year-old cousin has just come out, apparently. He doesn't know where that's come from. And he said that he was blocking it out because he was scared of losing her.
Yeah.
And they're both crying now.
And that starts her off again. Yeah, that was quite touching as well.
It really was. This scene's really nice. He tells her he loves her, and she says, you're the best gay boyfriend a girl could have.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite funny. And then he says, will you still go to prom with me? And she does. They agree to go to prom together. So they're going to stay friends, which is nice.
Yeah. So we cut to the prom.
Literally straight from there to the prom.
And they've dressed up properly. They're not in costume.
No, they're not. They're in tuxes and ball gowns. Dell's now aware of Alex's situation as well.
Yeah, all his friends are.
Everybody's fine with it. Some of his friends have licked the frog because they managed to catch the frog apparently in the middle of all this. So they're all tripping as well. Dell's there with Sophie on their date. They're dating now by the looks of it. And Claire has brought a surprise for Alex. Claire's brought Elliot along.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm going to pass the baton over. And I think this was a bit of a dick move on her part because she's kind of forcing the situation, and he clearly isn't ready for it.
Yeah. So,
and he does, because he freaks out because he looks around the room and everybody's watching him, and whether they are or not, in his head, everybody's watching him.
So I just think it's maybe that.
I think she had the best intentions.
Tightly, yeah, and I just think it's not very tightly directed, or the story's not quite joined that together, because clearly I think the intention is to show what an amazing person she is, because
she's fine.
No hard feelings. I love you as my friend. I've I know you like this guy. You probably wouldn't do anything about it, so I've set this up. But it does come across as a bit. She's put him on the spot.
She's completely
because she knows he wouldn't be able to cope with it.
Yeah, and he can't because also, nobody's asked Elliot at any point if he's interested in Alex.
And also, I've got security issues with this older kid, although not much older, being allowed to this
just
school
to get
dance.
allowed to go to the prom. Yeah,
at school that he can go to.
So anyway, we'll come to that at the end. Alex freaks out. He's like, I can't handle this. And he runs off to the bathroom. Elliot follows him. And Alex says to him, look, I can't handle this. Everybody's watching me. Which kind of upsets Elliot because Elliot walks out.
Because they weren't really.
No, they weren't.
In fact, again, it just shows it that he's in his own head, because I thought it was almost at pains to point out that everyone was okay with it.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Everyone's okay with it except for Alex at this point.
Yeah,
Alex is not ready to.
An issue in this movie is never other people accepting Alex.
No, it's Alex accepting himself.
Correct.
And he wasn't quite ready. He wasn't quite there yet, and that's why I think it was a bit of a dick move by Claire to force it. Anyway, Elliot walks out. Alex has this flash of like, okay, I'm ready now, because he realizes I'm about to lose this guy, and he runs out into the middle of the dance floor, grabs Elliot, and kisses him in front of everyone.
And to which there is absolutely no reaction.
No reaction whatsoever.
Which is exactly how it should be.
Gives a
That's
shit.
great.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He makes eye contact with Claire while this is happening, and she kind of walks away. It's a she's leaving scene. This is the end of her character. And Elliot and Alex have a dance, and that's kind of where the film ends. There's a little. It's before the credits, but it might as well have been a post-credit scene. They are making a new episode of their TV show.
Yeah. But
what it actually is Alex's coming out video on YouTube.
Yeah, they're going to tell the story that we've just seen, basically.
Yeah, basically. And then there's loads of real YouTube coming out videos, because that was a thing a few years ago.
I could have done with more of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like a couple of them playing over the credits, I think that would have been really nice, but they just kind of cut the guy off, didn't they?
Yeah, cut them off
5 seconds.
Cut them all together. There's loads of them all together. And then the film ends.
Yeah.
What do you think overall?
It was good.
It is good.
It wasn't great.
It's good though. It's entertaining. It's fun. It made me laugh a lot more than I was expecting it to.
So that's what I was just going to say. It was a lot funnier than I was expecting.
100%.
It was a lot more bawdy than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to get any of the sort of Porky's American Pie type stuff.
Nice Porky's reference.
Yeah,
showing your age there.
Oh, what a great film. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And mostly all that material landed.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mostly really like the performance as well. I think, the girl who played Claire was excellent, as I say. I thought the guy who played Elliot had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, they two together did have a lot of chemistry, to be fair. He wasn't in it enough for me. I needed more of Elliot. I didn't feel like we got to know his character enough.
Yes, I would say that. He made the most of his time, but yeah, we probably would have been nice to see a bit more of him.
And we definitely needed more of Del.
Yeah.
That just needed to happen. That guy was incredible.
I think I probably am being overly critical here. Probably the weakest performance was from Daniel.
Yeah, probably
Doheny, to be honest.
Probably it wasn't by any means a weak performance.
He was fine.
He's too old.
I don't think he always nailed it. To be honest,
no, I agree.
Well, he never nailed it in this film, did he? But he never nailed anything. But
later that night, he was definitely gonna.
Yeah.
You can't talk about this film without referencing Love, Simon, because it's basically a very similar plot with a much more successful film. And the way Nick Robinson plays that character in that film, if you've not seen Love, Simon, definitely go and watch that, because that is a beautiful film. I've seen that so many times. I think I've seen it like 4 times now.
And his performance is definitely puts Doheny to the shade here.
100%. They're both flawed. They both have their flaws. Love, Simon isn't a perfect film. It is. I really enjoy it. They're both coming of age, coming out stories. But I think, Nick Robinson's performance in that really, really outshines Daniel Doheny's performance in this. But that's not to say that his performance is bad, because this film isn't bad.
It's not the best performance in this movie.
It's not the best performance, and Love, Simon.
It's probably not the top 3.
No,
and he's the lead.
Yeah, and Love, Simon is just a better way to tell this story. But that's a highly successful film, and this is a Netflix original that's hiding at the bottom of the stream. So
yeah, exactly.
You can't really compare them together. I do want to discuss the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Why is this film called Alex Strangelove?
Isn't that a reference at the start? Just basically because he's strange.
I don't know, and I don't like it.
Don't they call him Strangelove a couple of times at the start?
Do they?
I think so.
I didn't pick up on that. His name's Alex Truelove in the film.
It is, yeah.
I just find the term strange.
I'm sure in the voiceover he says something like, "Oh, I've heard it all. Yeah, it's an odd name. I've been called blah 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 blah. Strangelove."
I just think the name of the film of Strangelove is a bit offensive. Maybe.
I did think that did cross my mind as well. I almost think Alex Truelove is a better title anyway.
Yeah, it is. It genuinely is. So why they've chucked the word
and
Strangelove?
It's his actual name.
Yeah. If his name could quite easily have been Alex Strangelove in the film.
It's nothing
if that's
strange
what you
about
want to
love.
call him. No, and I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit offensive, but that'd be. I just find it a little bit strange that it's not his name, but it could have been his name, no problem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just weird. It's a weird decision.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed.
No,
this.
I agree.
For a teen rom-com coming of age story, which are not something that I'm an expert in by any means, I enjoyed this. I thought it was all right. Absolutely thought it was all right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do
you want to talk stream table?
Yeah, let's do it.
What sort of area do you think we're looking at in the stream table, Nick?
Definitely top half. Probably top 10. Definitely, yeah, top 10. And then we'll go from there.
Do you want me to read from 10 upwards then?
Yeah, let's do that.
So currently in at number 10 is Shimmer Lake. At 9 is Would You Rather. 8 is The Discovery. 7 is Pottersville. 6 is El Camino Christmas. 5 is A Silent Voice. 4 is Catfight. 3 is VFW. 2 is Lost Bullet. And 1 is Caliber. Where are you putting this film?
I think I am inclined to put it just outside the top 5.
Just between El Camino Christmas and A Silent Voice?
I think so.
I'm a little bit higher on. I would put it above A Silent Voice myself.
Okay.
Similar films
totally
seem to
that.
group together on this table because A Silent Voice is a love story between teenage kids as well.
Yeah,
and it's weird how those sort of films in this stream table kind of go together. It's weird. I would put it above A Silent Voice. I'd probably put it above Catfight personally, but that's a personal opinion. I don't know if you'd take that on board.
I don't think it's a ridiculous suggestion. I think I said this a couple of times. I found Catfight so unique, and it was such an element of surprise to it.
But it isn't a great film. I get the fact that it's unique and it is completely different, and it's not like anything else you'll ever see. But it isn't a great film.
I don't know if I've ever said it's a great film.
No, but it's number 4 in the stream table.
That's the 4th best film we've seen in this season. That's why.
I don't think it is. I think Alex Strangelove is.
I'd meet you in the middle. I'd put it 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that deal. Who would have thought that film? That film's been on the long list since we started this podcast. It's been there since the very beginning, and I never expected it to be top 5 in a stream table. But it's decent. It's all right. It's not as good as Love Simon, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's good. I'd say it's a bit better than all right. It's funny.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
If you're into
it's got an odd title.
If you're into teen, it has got an odd title. It's got an offensive title. But if you're into teen high school dramas and coming of age stories, you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to really enjoy it. This
is absolutely streets ahead of anything Noah Centinio's ever done for Netflix. So.
Very true. Very, very true. It's 100 times better than Swiped or Sierra Burgess as a loser.
Yeah, I'd a fun time watching this.
5th in the stream table. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, it was an enjoyable time.
How are we turning the tide on it?
I think I've kind of covered it already, so I'm balancing out with a bit more Dell.
A lot more Dell, a bit more Elliot, and a different title, please. That's what I want to do.
And I would like it to choose how we're representing Alex's inner thoughts, because actually I might have ranked this a little bit higher if we'd have gone with the sort of animated type bits flying in and out.
It's weird how they only did that once. It's such a strange
and then the voiceover starts and then it just drops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They don't really go with the sort of nature doc thing. Only pick it up when it's convenient. Just tighten it up a bit.
Go with the silliness.
Let's choose our device.
Make it a little bit more silly, and then if you make it a bit more silly, then your serious parts will hit harder.
Yeah,
and I think you're probably right. I think that'd work. A bit more Dell, a lot more Elliot, a bit more silly. Change that silly title. 5th in the stream table. Do you want to pick next week's film?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to know a secret?
Yep.
Jordan's played his wild card.
Wild card.
Oh, hello. Okay.
We're getting quite close to the end of this season now, so let's give him a bit of a kick and say, oi, play your wild card. So he actually played it straight away as soon as I asked him to. Do you want to know what he's picked?
I'd love to, yeah.
He's picked a film called Anna and the Apocalypse.
Okay, I know what this is.
Me too.
Because it's quite new to Netflix.
It is. It's not a new film. It's from 2017, but it is new to Netflix. It's only appeared quite recently. It was the latest film added to the long list, to be fair.
Okay.
Do you want to know what it is?
It's a zombie film.
It is, indeed. It's a comedy horror musical.
I love a musical.
Do you want to know the synopsis?
Yes, please.
A zombie apocalypse threatens the sleepy town of Little Haven at Christmas. This is another Christmas film. We've had more Christmas films in this season than we did in season 1, and we had loads in season 1. Forcing Anna and her friends to fight, slash, and sing their way to survival, facing the undead in a desperate race to reach their loved ones, but they soon discover that no one is safe in this new world, and with civilization falling apart around them, the only people they can truly rely on are each other. This film is Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land.
What a synopsis.
So
I think also it is Scottish, and I think we're on our third Scottish film of this season.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't think we'd had any previously. So.
No, I think you're right, and it's our second musical of all time. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one next week.
Bring it on.
I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Mark Benton and Paul Kay are both in it as well, which they're both brilliant. So
excellent.
It could be good fun, this one. I'm expecting good things from it. So go and check out Anna and the Apocalypse. And in the meantime, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. They all have the same username. It is at BOTS_podcast. Facebook.com/bottom of the stream. The website is bottomofthestream.com, where on there you will find every episode we've ever recorded. You'll find all 4 seasons stream tables, nearly 4 completed stream tables now. There's some merch on there. There's loads of other cool stuff on there. Check it out. It's really good. Patreon.com/bottomofthestream, where you will, for a couple of quid every month, you can come and join us aboard our stream boat, and you can get some extra bonus episodes, early access to episodes. Nick writes a newsletter every month. We've got some stickers we can send to you, and if you come in at a certain level, you'll get yourself a wild card, which means you get to pick the film that we talk about. And then Discord. Come and check us out on Discord. The link to the Discord will be in the bottom of the show notes. So come and join us in there.
Yeah, come and have a chat with us in there. It's great fun. The other thing you can do to help us out, if you've got a couple of minutes to spare, is leave us a review anywhere that you can review podcasts. That could be Podchaser, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you want. Actually, before you leave us a review, lick a psychotropic frog and then write one, because that would be really entertaining for us, I think.
Would be really entertaining. Quickly, before we leave, I just want to give a couple of shout-outs. I did it last week, but Cephalopod is the new app by some of our podcasting friends. Check that out. I also want you to check out a new podcast that's called Celluloid Fever Dreams, which is doing a very similar thing to what me and you do, but he's taking films from the past that you might remember but misremember.
Okay.
It's like these films are like... I listened to one the other day about Death Becomes Her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What he does do, that I don't think I could never do it, and what you could never do it, I don't think, he does this podcast on his own.
Ooh. One-man booth.
A one-man booth. The guy's called Wyndham Jennings, and it's actually a really interesting show. It's called Celluloid Fever Dreams. It should be available wherever you get your podcast. He's brand new, and go and check him out. He's a really nice guy.
Excellent.
Cool. That's my shout-outs done, so that's nothing left to say but to go out, watch Anna and the Apocalypse, and we'll come back next week to talk to you about it.
Cheers.
Bye.